Hi, I'm Pav.
And I'm Neil.
And welcome to the Top 10 of Anything podcast.
Let's start the countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm going to sound old now, but the kids of today are happy watching 2-minute videos on their devices while playing the latest video games and listening to podcasts, thank God. But back in the day, we would sit in front of our TV sets and settle in to watch kids' TV of the highest quality on just 3 channels. It would keep us entertained for hours. Okay, maybe not the highest quality, but we are here to count down our favourite TV shows as kids. Here's Neil with 10 kids' TV facts.
Thank you very much. So here we go. The actor who voices Mojo Jojo in the Powerpuff Girls also voiced Ghostface in the Scream franchise. All of the characters for Bear in the Big Blue House were actually Muppets. Seth MacFarlane worked on several iconic Hanna-Barbera shows such as Johnny Bravo and Dexter's Laboratory. Scooby-Doo was named after a Frank Sinatra lyric. One of the show's writers misheard a lyric from Strangers in the Night as Scooby-Doo rather than Dooby-Doo, and the name stuck.
Could be.
Blue Peter is the world's longest children's TV show. It first aired in 1958 and is still going today.
Hey.
Oliver Postgate might not be a name you know, but he's one of the UK's greats for children's TV. Numerous shows include Bagpuss, Ivor the Engine, Noggin the Nog, and The Clangers.
And if that weren't enough, we've also got Mana, whatever that means.
Contrary to popular belief, Captain Pugwash didn't have the characters Seaman Staines, Roger the Cabin Boy, or Master Bates. Tiz is thought to be the first Saturday morning show that had as many adults as children watching its anarchic fun. Jim Henson first created the Muppets in 1955 for his TV show called Sam and Friends.
Just ate a blurky bug.
And while the recipe has changed over the years, the original Nickelodeon slime was made of vanilla pudding, apple sauce, and green food colouring.
You could hear worms coming up.
Thank you very much, Neil. That's very nice of you to give us those facts. Now, lots to get through on this episode. We've got a new Patreon top head, which we will introduce in a minute. Our guest today, if only you knew the trouble we've had. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, you'll see this beautiful picture of our guest, whereas we're just looking at a blank screen, but it doesn't matter. She's here. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michaela.
Hey, hello.
Oh, I wish I was on here, guys.
You are. We can hear you. Unfortunately, we can't see it. Now, the reason I said, I think it's so apt that you are our guest today, because as we record this, yesterday was our 10th anniversary of podcasting.
No.
Yes, and you are one of our longest podcasting, I mean friends before that, but longest podcasting friends. You were one of the first, I'd say 2 or 3 guests that we had on way back in the day, 10 years ago.
Yeah, in 2013. 2013.
Oh,
it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
wow, that is awesome.
But there you go. And that's obviously as we're recording this today. So April 4th, 2013 was the first time I think we recorded something. Podcasting all those years ago. So how are you, Michaela?
I'm really well, thank you. I'm very, very well.
You're looking well.
I'm looking really well. Had a big birthday. this
Did
year.
you?
So, yeah, well, late last year. Yeah, it was a big, big, big birthday.
What were you, 30? Yeah.
Yay, Neil, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I was. It was a big one.
Was it?
Yeah, big
Okay.
5-0 last year.
5-0?
Yes.
I was
Not.
genuinely... No, I thought, no.
Yeah.
40? Okay. Well,
Oh, very funny. No, honest. Yeah.
No.
I was going to say
definitely.
40. Michaela,
Oh,
you're lying.
bless
Oh,
you.
my lordy. God, I feel old now. Just seeing you like that. That's ridiculous.
So this is going to be really interesting. You might not know some of the programs that I'm going to mention.
Well, no, because the thing, I've forgotten for a start to put my glasses on, which is stupid because trademark and all that. I was really thinking to myself, well, the shows I've chosen, I said, Michaela's a slightly different era to me because she's got to be like late 30s, early 40s. So some of the ones that I've got on mine, she's not going to have ever heard of.
Are you joking?
No, not at all. I'm genuinely.
No, I was the same, Michaela. I genuinely didn't realise. You shouldn't have said anything. You should have said, "Oh yes, I'm 40." Yeah, that was 40.
I actually feel really awesome, to be honest.
Well, you should.
Yeah.
You look amazing.
No,
for
it's
it.
even more of a pisser that your camera doesn't work, doesn't it? Because everybody's going,
It is
God,
actually. It is.
what does she look like?
And I've got my hair down, and it's not
no.
often. Yeah, it's not often you see me like that.
No.
No, it's a darn shame, boys.
Oh, you're just teasing us now.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm just going to have to get on that OnlyFans, and
Price has gone up.
Oh dear! Oh, I'll pay
Yeah,
it. I'll
no,
pay
it's
it.
a really good fans only because it's you basically have to guess what I'm actually wearing.
Is that
this one? Yeah.
No camera. So
I've noticed. Don't worry. I mean, I'm sure both Neil and I, we're trying to think of what you're wearing. That's going to sound so bad.
That sounds awful, doesn't it? It really sounds bad.
Oh, let's move on. Before we do carry on, Doug Simpson, Dougie, Doogie Man, Doogie Howser MD,
Mr. Simpson,
Snoop Doogie Doog, the Simpson. He's our latest Patreon top head, so thank you very much, Doug. He will be joining us sometime in the future for his top 10 podcast. Thank you so much for your support, Doug. It means the world to us, and it literally keeps the lights on, so thank you very much. Okay, let's crack on, because we are going to jump into our little time machines and go back to when we were kids. And I don't know about you guys, but I've not necessarily got all kids programs.
Likewise.
But they were all programs that I loved as a kid.
Likewise.
Cool.
So, and Michaela,
mine are quite kiddie, but that says it all, really.
Then that's fine. I didn't say this before we went live. So, if we happen to have one the same,
yes,
then just say, like, if I've got something at number 9, and yours is at number 5, just say, yeah, I've got that at number 5, and we'll talk about it all at the same time. Unless it's your number 1, keep that quiet, okay? Right then, Michaela, kick us off with your number 10.
Okay, so my number 10 is actually, be quite surprising, Kickstart.
Oh, yes. I used to love watching it.
I loved Kickstart. I absolutely loved it.
Peter Purvis.
It was. It was so good. And I used to watch it with my eldest brother, you see. And then what we used to do, anybody who doesn't know Kickstart, it used to be like little stunts, didn't it? It used to be like an assault course on scrambler bikes. And I was glued to it because I was a bit of a tomboy. It's fair to say. I know it's difficult to imagine that with my appearance now, but I was very much a tomboy. And so I used to watch it with my eldest brother. And then he had a scrambler, you see. We used to then go out and make some of the little circuits. We used to try and do some of the little stunts ourselves.
Oh, my God.
I used to be on the back. He was obviously 11 years older than me. It was hilarious. I loved it.
That used to be a thing that they used to have on during the school holidays, wasn't it?
Yes.
Kickstart in the morning, like at 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I think it started in sort of 79 or something, 1979
Was
it
it?
started. But it ran through to the quite late, actually, didn't it?
Yeah.
I think.
I can't remember I don't know when it finished, but you imagine them trying to make a show like that now?
Oh, my word. Health and safety. It'd be a nightmare, wouldn't it?
Would never happen, would it?
Not at all.
The thing is, you find that, I think with a lot of things like that, YouTube do that sort of stuff now. Do you know what I mean? It's the sort of thing that you would just see people on videos on YouTube of people like crashing on their bikes and
Yes.
and I'll spend hours just watching videos of people falling off things and being smashed by things.
But it's how young some of the children are that they got in. We're talking like
were.
7-8-year-olds.
They were incredible. I know. Yeah. And it was 79 to 91.
Bloody hell.
Actually went on until 91. That's quite a long.
Yeah,
that's quite a long time.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I don't think Peter Purvis definitely
did it at one stage.
Blue Peter
he did.
Host it, didn't he? I don't know.
Jack's. Oh no, what was his name? Mick Andrews, apparently. Dave Lee Travis did it as well.
Dave Lee Travis, the hairy cornflake.
There's a blast from the past. Dave Lee Travis.
Blast from the past and forgotten in the past.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah.
Monster.
He had a different version of Kickstart, didn't he?
Let's not go into that, Neil. Come on, we don't want to be in the courts again. Come on.
Who brought his name up?
Yes. Great start. Okay,
yeah.
A kickstart indeed.
I'd actually forgotten that,
I know. Well, it's really funny. It dawned on me today because I was thinking about this earlier on, and suddenly it came to my mind. I thought, "Oh my word!" Because I remember how much I loved it. I thought that's got to go on the list.
Yeah, very good.
So I cut something else out for that.
See, that's the trouble. You start tinkering, and all of a sudden, these ones that you want to keep in there have to go.
They do.
Go on then, Neil. You're number 10.
So this is a blast from our from my childhood, and I used to love it. It was the Flash Gordon. 1936 with Buster Crabtree in the main role. I mean, the little serializations that used to be on Saturday morning, I was well hooked on them. I didn't realise till into my adulthood that it was actually a movie. Did you know this? And then sliced into
really?
They edited it. Yeah. I had no idea, but that's what it was.
That was the start of Christmas. Christmas school holidays. 9 o'clock in the morning, whatever, 20 minutes. It'd be Flash Gordon with Ming the Merciless.
Oh, Ming the Merciless, indeed.
Those weird spaceships with the farty, like little sparkler noise.
That's right.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Oh, very good.
They were great.
I mean, I really did love the film. Actually, they did sort of later in the when was that?
The 1980 one?
Yeah, the 1980 one. That was I did enjoy that. I used to watch that on repeat. Actually, that was a
great
Flash Gordon. It was, and Brian Blessed in that was just superb. Yeah, indeed.
And
I hate it all.
I mean, there was some great characters in it because Timothy Dalton was in it.
That's
right. He was.
What's his name from the Crystal Maze? Richard O'Brien.
That's right. He was in it.
Peter Duncan from Blue Peter.
That's right. Yeah, he got bitten by the scorpion, didn't he?
That's
it.
The thing in the thing in the tree, wasn't it?
And it was a complete flop when it came out.
It was
amazing.
Are you going to mention it, Neil? Are you going to mention it?
No, well, do people know that
every time we mention something like Flash Gordon, we always have to go on about Sam Jones and about how he ruined.
Do you know
his
about
career.
Sam Jones?
No, I don't.
He played Flash. He lost his career basically because he posed for Playgirl magazine.
No way.
I mean, if you're near a Google device now, just put Sam Jones.
Just
naked
make sure you're not at work because you could get
or with anyone else. Not safe for work. But the pictures are all there. I mean, he didn't have a lot to be shy about, but it lost him his career.
No way.
Yeah.
I mean, he was brilliant. I mean, in Ted, that completely cracked me up when he reappeared in Ted. That was just hilarious.
But we always seem to get round to Sam Jones and his loss of his career.
Sam Jones Todger.
Oh dear.
No way.
Yeah. We'll leave that for you later on, Michaela. You can do a little bit of homework on that.
I was going to say actually, just quickly, Michaela, do you remember the little pancasts when we were in the day of pancast shows?
Yes.
And I don't know whether you were there for our Christmas one. I think you were because I remember seeing Bernie won the Christmas pud. Well, I did Pav a advent calendar, a huge one. And each picture behind was for Christmas themed. And one of them, I did Sam Jones, sat there stark naked.
You did. Now I know why.
Yeah, and then he had the Christmas hat on.
And I still have that advent calendar on my wall now.
That is funny.
No,
brilliant.
I don't. I'm only joking. No, I don't.
I bet you do.
No.
Yeah,
okay, my number 10. Now, again, kids, you got to remember back in the day, we didn't have 500 channels and we didn't have YouTube where we could find information about everything. So if you wanted to know about movies, Like it was maybe 2 programs. You had film, whatever year it was, with Barry Norman for the adults, and then it was Clapperboard.
Oh shit! I forgot that one as well.
With Chris Kelly, that I think was on ITV.
Chris Kelly.
Yeah, and it was like a half-hour show. I can't remember what day of the week it was on, but it would give you all the movie news and then maybe videos or video like news reports from sets of movies. And it was our information of what movies were coming out, what movies were being made. Chris Kelly, he did something else as well. I can't remember what other shows he did, but he was kind of like one of the guys that would crop up on everything in my youth. But Clapperboard was like, because the 2 things I loved when I was little was like movies and music. So to get my movie news, if you like, that was it. It was like half an hour a week, and you'd get all your information of whatever movies were going to be made.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't very high tech, obviously, because it just wasn't. It was a guy sat in a studio telling you the news with a couple of little bit of videotape interviews and stuff. But
that was a great show. I remember that now. It's all come flooding back.
I vaguely remember it. But it sounds awesome. I don't remember details of it.
At the same time, there was also the movie quiz show. Near that time.
Screen Test.
Test.
Oh wow! I remember that.
Michael Rodd.
That's it.
Yeah, that very closely nearly went on my top 10.
Yeah.
But
it's all come flooding back now.
We're going to be wiping away the cobwebs of the past as we delve into this top 10.
Wow!
Go on then, Michaela. Your number 9, please.
So my number 9 was Batman with Adam West and Burt Ward.
That's my number 6.
Is it?
Right.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that on a Saturday morning.
I still do love it.
I do too, actually. And I mean, I did have a bit of a crush on Bert, Robin. I have to say that, but I just cracked up. I used to find it hilarious. It was just absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it was so camp yet so great, wasn't it?
It was those outfits. I mean, they were just wonderful.
And just to lower the tone again, Burt Ward's famous for having a famous bat pole, don't you?
No.
Yeah.
What, Little
Really?
Robin?
Yeah, he's another one that's famous for having a bat machine.
No.
How do you know all this, Neil?
Yeah, where'd you get your information?
Where'd you get your information?
Neil?
When you read my book, Hollywood and its massive cocks, you'll find out. I was listening to another podcast about Batman 66, and they were talking about everything, and then it was mentioned on there that he actually brags about it, the older he got.
Really?
So if we go back, and Kevin Smith was one of the ones that helped put his star on Hollywood, on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He actually talks about it in the opening speech.
Does he?
Yeah, he actually mentions it.
Wow. Why would you do that when you got all of Hollywood around you?
Exactly.
Well, maybe he's 88, he's or whatever he was.
Oh my word! Oh my word! Don't. That's scary. I can't imagine it. See, he just remains this young Burt Ward in my head.
Yeah.
Which is what's wonderful, I think, for actors. To be honest, they're almost they remain youthful in people's minds, don't they?
Absolutely, they do. Yeah.
Especially when that's the only thing that they're sort of famous for.
Yes.
He wasn't really famous for anything else, was he? But
not at all.
Well, now he's got
Thunderbolts back then. I mean, they just used to come out with such.
Yeah. And now he can have his OnlyFans account, make some more money in the end of his career, can't he?
Whoa. Honestly,
88-year-old giant knob.
Now, that sounded like you were calling him a giant. He's an 88-year-old giant knob.
Yeah.
I didn't mean it like that. Anyway. Go on then, Neil, you're number 9.
It's Doctor Who. I'm sorry to say. Yeah, I used to. I mean, when I first started watching it, I was like every child and terrified.
Yeah,
I had nightmares. I can still a couple of the episodes that gave me nightmares are still ingrained. But then I grew to love it. Then I grew to hate it, and then I sort of reintroduced myself with it.
So which one's yours? Which one's your Doctor Who?
Well, it'd be John Pertwee and Tom Baker, really.
So which one would you say is yours?
Tom Baker probably more, because I was more scared of even though Tom Baker I found creepy as anything.
Yeah, he was creepy.
Yeah,
I agree. He was very creepy. Any more? Has he done any extra sort of any extra work he's done that you might want to tell us about?
Yeah. What number is he in the Big Book of Knobs?
He's not. He's not. If you watch The Life and Loves of a She-Devil, you do see it. And
dear! Look at this, Neil. What's going on with you? Is this research for the book?
I just remember being shocked that I saw Doctor Who's penis. That's all I remember on that one.
God, whose haven't you seen?
Exactly. I'm worried what footage he's got now.
I find that hard to believe with your trip to LA, you guys.
Well, I know. I'm going to say that. I mean, I'll be in the sequel book, the top 10 smallest knobs.
But it says that's just random that came up and you asked me about that, and I suddenly thought, do you remember The Life and Loves of a She-Devil? Yeah, that was like I was allowed to watch it and I was far too young. So I loved it because it was nudity galore.
Yeah, of course. It was a bit risque.
Number 3 on your favourite TV shows as a kid.
There's OTT. There's
OTT.
Oh my word! Yeah.
OTT. Okay. My number 9. Again, not a particularly a kids show, but it was Superstars.
Oh yeah.
Now,
Superstars.
this is something again that would never happen today. You would have. I mean, I can remember the famous scene of Kevin Keegan coming a cropper on a racing bike. Brian Jacks, I think, was another one. But it was like big stars, big sporting stars, all doing things like 100-meter dash and what were they called? Like sit-ups, not sit-ups. What were they called? The
bench presses.
Bench presses and all of these different kinds of things, and they'd be against each other. I mean, I think I would assume just insurance purposes they wouldn't be allowed to do it these days. No, you wouldn't be able to get people to do that. But you would have like a certain footballer against a boxer and judo, wasn't it? Because I think that's what Brian Jacks was a massive.
Daley Thompson, I remember on it as well. I know he did. Was he not a host? I was going to say
he might have been a host because Daley Thompson, that would be so unfair because he's
that's what I'm saying.
All round perfect person.
Yeah, no. I don't think he was a competitor. I think he was the host.
One of the hosts. Right. Yeah, I think you might be right. Actually,
I'm sure that
he came to Cirencester, didn't he?
Did he?
Daley, yeah, definitely. I'm sure we had a school. It was one of our many people had photographs taken with him down at the Cotswold Leisure Centre.
Was he to audition for Neil's book? He was looking for Neil. I want to be in your book, mate.
Yeah. No,
indeed.
I wasn't writing it back then.
I don't think I've dreamt that. Guys. I'm pretty
sure. Could well have done. We had a lot of strange celebrities turn up, don't we? I always remember
we did.
where I mean, the village where I live now is where obviously I lived as a child. And waiting at the bus stop, Simon Mayo turned up.
Oh, wow.
On Radio 1 breakfast show.
How awesome.
And did the live thing from the bus stop.
Oh, wow. I like Simon Mayo.
Yeah.
I like Simon.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
How bizarre.
Indeed.
How bizarre. Okay then, Michaela, your number 8, please.
Okay, my number 8 is Fame.
Oh, the TV series.
I loved it. I mean, if you'd have seen me afterwards, I'd get my leg warmers on. I'd be leaping around my bedroom. It was like I wanted to play the cello, the piano. I wanted to go to that school. No, I absolutely loved it. It had a real effect on me, actually. Every time I watched it, I was utterly inspired by the dancing, by the music, by the production, all of it. It really did get in there, actually, for me. I even had the, hate to say it, I actually had the soundtrack. I remember my brother buying me the tape.
Because it was a lot different. I mean, the movie was very gritty and very adult, wasn't it? Whereas the TV show, but it became a phenomenon because they came and did like live tours.
They did tours,
they were like massive.
But the only one to really make
at the time.
I was going to say the only one that really sort of went on for any career was that Laurie Singer, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah,
the rest of them sort of vanished. Really.
No, that's right. And Leroy, really sadly, I think his life ended early. It was like drug addiction or something. He had a really, really hard time. I don't know what happened to the others, but I did. I used to literally watch it and imagine what it'd be like to actually, go to a performing arts school. And I did. I loved it.
Was it on a Saturday night, or am I mistaken?
I think it was a Friday night.
Yeah, it was a Friday night. Yeah, it was.
Irene Cara, who played, I think it was Coco in the movie.
That's
passed
right.
away
She did.
Not long ago,
she
did she?
Yeah. That
is a good one, though.
Fame was awesome.
Very good. Go on then, Neil. Your number 8
is Mr. Ben.
Oh, Mr.
Mr. Ben.
And I researched this because I used to. I'm talking being a younger child, obviously watching
Yes.
this, and I still enjoyed it when I got older. But I didn't realise it only went from 1971 to 1972.
Whoa, is that all?
Very few, it's a case of the bag pussies where there's only like 9 episodes, but you think there's hundreds.
That's right. That's
You
right.
forgot about them. Yeah, I used to love Mr. Ben, the mystical, the magical, and the wonderful. But the American people who didn't know about Mr. Ben, he was just a guy that would go into a costume shop, change into a costume, and then relive the life of the costume.
Yeah, he would. Yeah. That's right.
So one day he'd be, I don't know, a knight in shining armor. The next one he'd be a astronaut or something.
That's right.
Oh, it was great.
And he was amazing because he'd just take his hat off and all his clothes would fall off. So right up your street, Neil. You love that.
Mr. Well-hung Ben.
And I can always remember a few years ago, there was a rumour that they were going to do a live-action movie.
They would.
And it was going to be Johnny Depp playing Mr. Ben.
No, that is hilarious.
Oh, my God.
Brilliant.
You imagine that. That would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp is Mr. Ben. Mr. Well-hung Ben.
Yeah. But of course, then Mr. Ben went on and had a range of rices, didn't he?
He did. He's
of course he did, yeah.
He's a very, very multifaceted person.
Yes.
Oh, dear. My number 8. Now, this, we've already spoken about John Pertwee. So my number 8 is Wurzel Gummidge.
Oh, Wurzel Gummidge.
It was, I mean, John Pertwee used to scare me. He used to scare as Doctor Who. But I for some reason I loved him as well because like Wurzel Gummidge, I didn't watch the remake with Mackenzie Crook. I just didn't.
Very good. Oh, I did.
Yeah,
it was very good. Completely different.
But watching a few clips while preparing for tonight, I just sort of thought, well, how great was John and the other people in Wurzel Gummidge as well. You had Una Stubbs as Aunt Sally.
That's right.
Yeah. Barbara Windsor, but I can't remember the name of her character.
No, but she was the flirty one, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was like the whatever they have on the front of a. Well, they have on the front of a boat, don't they? Have like the wooden thing on the wooden woman on the front of a boat.
That's right.
So that's what she was. That's when like she changed into the busty sort of woman on the front of the boat. And I can't remember the name.
I used to be a little bit scared of Wurzel Gummidge, I have to admit.
Oh, and when he pop his head off.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, the Crowman always creeped
Crowman.
me out.
Oh, Mr. Crowman, sorry, Mr. Crowman. Thank you very much. Thank you. But I just think he was so...
She was Saucy Nancy, actually.
Saucy Nancy.
That's
right.
And
Saucy Nancy.
I can remember the moment that, like, Wurzel had a chance to go off with Saucy Nancy and decided and chose Aunt Sally and said, Aunt Sally was just a bitch to Wurzel.
Yeah, she was
horrible.
She
was. And then I can remember seeing Barbara Windsor walking away with like tears streaming down her face because she wanted Wurzel to go with her. And it was so sweet, but
there were some very tender moments in that. I remember getting very moved, actually.
There was.
As a kid.
But wasn't the young girl that was in Black Beauty as well, wasn't she?
I don't know. She was the little girl that was in 4 Weddings and a Funeral. She was like, yeah.
Yes, I got it the wrong way. It was.
She unfortunately passed away quite young as well.
Yeah, she did.
Did she?
Marmalade Atkins.
Marmalade
Atkins. Girl. Do you remember the TV series?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, she was in that as well, wasn't she?
Oh.
See, isn't it great
Charlotte Coleman.
Charlotte Coleman. Yeah, I was getting the Black Beauty girl and her mixed up.
No, yeah. I didn't realise.
Oh, the Black Beauty theme. Yes, I think it was. Yeah,
yeah. She was great in Wurzel Gummidge. Actually, she was fantastic in that.
Okay, so Michaela, your number 7, please.
Yeah, so my number 7 is Take Heart, of course.
That's my number 5.
Is it?
It is.
Yeah, Take Heart. Tony Hart. I was captivated by that, as you can imagine. I used to sit drawing while I was watching it, and I just thought he was just extraordinary. How he managed to show actually, it was quite simplistic what he was doing, but it always looked. It was always magnificent. It was always like, a few lines here and a few lines there completely transformed what he was doing. It went from something very flat to something like a masterpiece. And the gallery was just, I love that. the gallery part.
Yeah.
And I sent work in, and it was just wonderful. Morph, I love Morph.
Yeah.
Michaela, were you because obviously people that are listening to this might not know that you're a great artist, should we say that? I think your artwork is fantastic.
Thank you.
Does was that what inspired you to carry it on, or were you already,
Well, no, because no, there was something else that I watched, which I'll talk about, and it was the other thing that actually inspired me. He did used to inspire me, but I was already at that point. I was literally drawing. I drew every single day, or painted every single day of my childhood. I was always,
So you've always had a natural talent for it, then? I take
it. Yeah. As soon as I could pick up a pencil, basically, I drew. And,
I wish I could draw.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Oh yeah.
No,
just
honestly.
Penises on the wall. That's all I can draw.
Yeah, it might be a bit obscene, actually.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind what you're researching
with
for your book.
Neil, isn't it?
You're the one that started it.
Well. Yeah, but no, like I'm in the artsy socials. I do artsy socials at Toro Lounge.
Yeah.
Cirencester, and they are really hopefully remove. And from what I've seen, they do remove barriers for people that believe they cannot actually paint when they actually can. And I show them step by step how to create a landscape. That's what the evening is. It's more social than it is art, but it's about the pleasure and it's about the joy of it, really. But honestly, you'd be surprised. There's just little tips and little tricks, and that's what I used to love about Tony Hart. He showed a lot of those things. Little highlight here and a little highlight there would make a massive difference.
And I don't think you get people like Tony Hart on the TV anymore. He was
I agree.
He was a very sort of like a gentle soul.
Oh, definitely.
Do you know what I mean? And
yes.
He was so easy to listen to and to watch.
He was.
For our American friends, he was kind of like a children's version of Bob Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
He was just just somebody that was like, and I must admit, he was one of those guys that you sort of when you started getting the Stuart Halls and the Jimmy Saviles of the world, you thought, please don't let Tony Hart be involved in one of those, because he was one of those. He always come across as like a beautiful soul that was like just doing stuff because he loved doing it.
And there was a familiarity with him, wasn't there? There was almost like his warmth really exuded. Yeah. And so you felt, I certainly did watch him, felt very connected to him. Like I almost knew the guy. He was just, he was just wonderful.
And also, like I feel like Bob Ross, he made drawing and painting and what he was creating look so easy.
Yes.
That when you tried to do it with chalk or pastels or whatever, it never ever went the way that.
No.
Even though it was just a couple, like you said, Michaela, a couple of simple lines, a simple bit of shading. He's just rub the chalk here and do this there, and all of a sudden he's got this beautiful sunset on a beach, and you think, how did he do that? And then you'd always get one of those borders that you would put over the top of it, make it look like this amazing piece of art. Yeah,
wonderful.
And wore a great neckerchief.
He wore a wonderful
neckerchief. He did, actually. He did. No, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Yeah, that's a great one. That's a great one. Go on then, Neil. You're number 7.
So, I mean, we'll probably all watch this, but it's Top of the Pops.
Yes!
That's my number 4.
Cool.
I mean, it was a staple, wasn't it? I always remember our Thursday nights growing up.
Yes.
Me and my brother would have to go swimming first. We'd pick up a fish and chip tea.
Brilliant.
And then we come back in time to watch Top of the Pops. That is
brilliant.
Real part and parcel of my childhood.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Yeah, definitely.
And again, in those days, that was like the music program. And I don't mean the as in the best one around. It was on TV, the program that you would... I can always remember, like, Thursday when it said such and such is going to be on, like Frankie Goes to Hollywood are going to be on. Yeah. Oh, great! We get to see them, or we get to see this band and that band.
Yeah.
And that's where you got your fix for the music. I mean, you obviously listen to the radio, but watching something, or watching your favourite band, or...
Is that
Christ,
somebody jumping into
We weren't talking about horrors.
Yeah.
A couple of my big pop figures have just fallen over.
Your big what?
My pop figures.
Oh, sorry.
It's all going mad.
Yeah. Crazy.
Oh, I love it.
But the Top of the Pops was basically, I mean, it was as important for the artists as it was for the people watching it, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
I mean, everybody back in the day said that was the one thing they always wanted on their bucket list, was to be able to get on Top of the Pops. I mean,
Yes.
it did lose its way for years in the end. I mean, but was that a social thing where everybody's taste changed? Probably. But I've been watching the reruns. They show them on BBC
They
Four.
They do. I watch them quite often as well, actually.
And it brings back so many memories, doesn't it? And you remember artists on there, and you think, I remember watching that one.
Yes.
Yeah,
it does.
Absolutely.
And there is, as I said in my top 10 podcast, there's a great podcast called Chart Music, where they take an episode of Top of the Pops way back, sometimes in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and then they will just dissect it. And the podcast goes on for like 6 or 7 hours. And they dissect every single minute of it, and they go off on little tangents. It's very adult humor, very adult language on there, but it is
unlike our podcast.
But it is great. It's a really good podcast if you fancy sort of like reminiscing really old
that's
Top
cool.
of the Pops. Yeah,
that's very cool.
Number 7. My number 7, multicolored swap shop.
Yes, that was a great one.
You had to. I mean, as a kid.
Oh,
I think as a kid, you were either one or the other. You were either Tiz Was or Swap Shop.
I agree.
But I was watching. I think I said this on a couple of weeks ago. I found a fantastic YouTube channel which has got loads of things like old Blankety Blank, old TV shows, Bob's Full House, and Everything Counts with Paul Daniels. Everything Counts. But they've even got Multicolored Swap Shops on there, full episodes of Multicolored Swap Shop and Saturday Superstore and all these different shows. And I watched a couple of them, and I thought, I used to watch this as a kid. This is crazy. When somebody phones up and says that they've got a badminton racket they would like to swap for an alarm clock, and you think, oh my God, this is crazy. But we used to love it. I used to love it as a kid. I was a bit, for some reason, I was a big fan of Noel Edmonds. I used to like Noel Edmonds.
Me too, actually. I like Noel.
He was so good at what he did. Come on, we can't take it away from him. What he did on Saturday morning TV, he was very, very good at.
He was. And who was the other host?
So you had Keith Chegwin.
That's right, Keith Chegwin.
The late great Keith Chegwin. Maggie Philbin.
That's right, Maggie.
John Craven, obviously from John Craven's Newsround, was also on there as well.
Of course.
So it was. And then Eric, wasn't Eric? Who used to? I don't know. That used to bring down the. Because everything again, kids. If you wanted to get yourself into the competition, you'd have to write on a postcard.
Yeah, you would.
And then they'd send it in, and then they would just like get this big perspex ball that they would stick their hand in and pull out the winner of the particular quiz question on whoever it was.
You could see it being picked. It looked fair in those days.
It looked fair in those days, indeed. Okay, so that was my number 7. So, Michaela, your number 6, please.
This isn't going to surprise you. Grange Hill.
Oh, that's my number 2.
Is it?
I was a huge Grange Hill fan.
Yeah, I love Grange Hill. That was quite groundbreaking, I think, for the time. I don't think there was any other sort of there was no sort of TV shows like that whereby, it was all about, school life and various friendship groups and kind of what went on within school. I think it was probably the only one then, wasn't it? But they covered a lot of ground, actually. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I used to be glued to it. That was a highlight when I got home.
Same as you, Michaela. I absolutely have ever so fond memories of it.
Yeah.
And it was only a few years ago that I watched a few of the Tucker episodes.
Yeah, Tucker's Luck, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then that was the spin-off, wasn't it? Tucker's Luck with Alan
Jenkins.
Yeah,
I had a bit of a crush on him as well.
He was the bad boy, though, really.
He was the bad boy. That's probably why the crush was there.
Yeah, but they dealt with so many topics that probably wouldn't be allowed today. I mean, you think about the affair with the teacher; they probably wouldn't be allowed to show that.
That's right.
Claire,
there was the whole drugs,
heroin, and all.
Just say no.
That's right.
Yeah.
Zammo.
Yeah.
Zammo.
And they dealt with racism right back there.
Yeah.
They really did. Yeah.
They did. It was pretty groundbreaking, I think, to be
I
honest.
think so.
There was nothing like it.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sort of filtered out, didn't it, into people's lives outside of school, you know.
That's
They
right.
were, pupils.
Finished in 2008.
Did it
That's
really?
crazy, isn't it?
Gosh. Because it must have started in the 70s. I don't know when it started.
1978 it started.
Was it 78?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I sort of gave up, obviously, when I left, probably well before I left school.
Yeah,
But so my years were basically Tucker and whoever followed. Saw a bit of the Zammo years and all of that.
Yeah, me too. That was probably when I checked out soon after that. But yeah.
I'm actually friends on Facebook with Zammo.
Oh, wow.
And also Paula Ann Bland, who was she had like the blonde curly hair that was one of the girls in Grange Hill.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We're such good friends.
Get you name dropped.
No, we're not. We're not really. But that is a good one. It didn't. I don't know. It just didn't. It would have been if we'd have done the top 15 or top 20. I think it would have made my list, but it just didn't make my 10. No. Okay, my number 6 is Run Around with
Mike Reed.
Mike Reed, not the DJ Mike Reed, but the having it all that comedian Mike Reed. Yeah, it was. I mean, I don't know how old Mike Reed was when he did that, but he still always looks like really old. Yeah, he always looked really old.
Yeah.
But always had you would have a tracksuit on or something, and the idea of Run Around was you'd have a question that had 2 answers, and the children, I don't know how many children, it would be 20 or whatever. He would ask the question, then he would go run around, nah, and then they would stand on whichever answer they thought was right.
Yes.
Whoever got it right, and they had a chance to choose to change their mind if they wanted to.
Yeah.
And then whoever got it right stayed in, and whoever got it wrong, I think they ended up in a cage or something, didn't they? I think
something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Until there was one
person. I'd forgotten about that.
Until there was one person left. But also, they would have a musical guest on every week.
Yeah.
And I can remember that was the first time I ever saw Pet Shop Boys. They were on there doing West End Girls. And I always remember that because I used to get Smash Hits, the magazine.
Yes.
And Neil Tennant was the editor of Smash Hits at the time.
That's right.
And then all of a sudden, he was on there, like, he wasn't just being a journalist, he was actually being a pop star. And it was the very first time, I think the first time West End Girls came out, it wasn't a hit, was it? They had to re-release it.
Yeah, they redid it, didn't they?
Yeah. So, but whether it was West End Girls or Opportunities, Let's Make Lots of Money, I can't remember which song it was. But yeah, it was another way to get a little bit of a fix of music, because they would just stick a music act in there. I remember I was doing some, again, research, and I can't remember, Graduate is the name of the band, and it was the band before Tears for Fears. So it had Kurt Smith and Roland Orzabal in these like mod suits, singing this quite sort of jaunty little ditty, really. But it was they had a lot of attitude on their face, which is, I'll put that in the video playlist for our Patreon subscribers.
How cool!
But yeah, so I loved that show. I thought it was so much fun.
But it sort of went through a spell in in the UK children's TV of these little quizzes or game shows, didn't it? That was suddenly all came out. Because do you remember On Safari with Christopher Biggins?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I do.
Ian Tailforth was
the host.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
On Safari.
Oh my word, that is so cool. I'd forgotten about that.
There you go. There you
awesome.
go. Right, we're halfway through, so it's time for this.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
Yes, pop quiz, hot shot. So I've got some questions for both of you. It's first 1 to 3. Okay, Michaela, if you're going to go first. If you get it wrong, Neil gets a chance to answer, and it's like I say, first 1 to 3. So you have the first question.
No.
Are you ready?
Oh no!
Right, here's your first question, and they're all going to be about TV shows we loved as a kid. Okay, so what was the piano-playing dog's name on the Muppet Show?
Oh, I don't know. That's a hard one. Was it Ralph? No. Oh, no. I thought it was Ralph.
Is that going to be your answer?
Yeah, I'll go with Ralph.
It's not. No, Neil.
I thought it was Ralph.
Is that your answer?
I'd have said Ralph.
It was Rolf.
Rolf.
It was
Oh, was it
Rolf. It was
Well,
Rolf.
close a bloody
Okay
no.
then,
Blimey,
Neil.
that's a little bit pedantic, isn't it?
Well, it's not. If your name is Rolf and people call you Ralph, what would you do? You'd say, "Excuse me, my name is Rolf."
What's a odd little change of name among friends? Yeah, okay.
Okay, Michaela. If I call you that, should I call you Michaela? You wouldn't
You
like
made
that,
her
would
Italian now.
you? No, I didn't.
Halo.
Right then, Neil. What city was Mork and Mindy set in?
Oh. I want to say Chicago.
You want to say Chicago, or
I'll
you're
say
going
Chicago. I'm going to say Chicago.
to say? It's not right, Michaela.
No, I thought it was Canada. I know, Colorado.
But I need the city.
Oh, you need the city, don't you? Oh, I wouldn't. That's really hard, that one. I'm just trying to think of cities. Boulder, actually.
Is correct.
Oh, well done, Michaela.
Well done, Michaela.
Wow.
Well done. Okay, so it's back to you, Michaela, for your next question.
Okie dokes.
Who hosted the BBC show Saturday Superstore?
I want to say Noel Edmonds, but that's not right. Am I going to go with that? Oh, no, it's got to be Mike Reed. It was Sarah Green, wasn't it? I'll go with Mike Reed.
It's correct. It was Mike Reed. You almost talked yourself out of that one.
I
there.
nearly took myself out of that.
You nearly did. Right then, Neil. You need this one to get a point, really. Basically, that's what you need this one for. What was the name of the hare in Pipkins?
Oh, crying out loud. Was it Harkin?
Is not right. No. Michaela, for the win.
Yes, I know this.
Go on then.
Hartley.
Hartley hare. Michaela wins.
Well done,
3-0.
Michaela.
3-0. She actually wiped the floor with you, Neil.
And well deserved.
Hartley hare.
You're still yet to
Hartley.
win one of these quizzes, Neil. I feel when we do
I had
top
a
10
draw.
biggest knobs, I'm sure the quiz you'll fly through,
No.
won't you? Anyway,
I'll come number one.
hey, back to the countdown. Anyway, Michaela, you're number 5, please.
Yeah, my number 5 was Terrahawks.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Zelda. Ooh, scary.
Zelda. She was so scary. My word. That character was so scary. I absolutely loved Terrahawks. I used to be glued to that. It was just the whole animation, that I found it so captivating. I loved it.
I never
It's
got into
fantastic.
Terrahawks. I never
Didn't you?
watched it. No.
Starfleet.
Did you watch any of them?
Did you? Yeah, are you into Starfleet or anything?
No.
Thunderbirds, not any
Joe
of that?
90?
No.
Yeah, I loved all those.
Captain Scarlet, I think I used to watch a little bit of.
Yeah, that was quite good. She was.
Was that all done by the same people? That was all the Jerry Anderson stuff. Was
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't realize.
Stingray? You must have watched Stingray.
Yeah.
Stingray.
Maria.
Aquamarine.
Yeah. Oh,
dear,
she
yeah.
was so beautiful, Maria. Yeah, Terrahawks. Loved it.
Okay, I didn't realise
Didn't
that was a
expect
Jerry
that.
Anderson thing. I just didn't realise that was.
Well, it was only recently I found out Space 1999 was Jerry Anderson.
Was it
Oh,
really?
really?
Yeah.
That was a live action thing, though.
It was.
Oh, well done, Neil.
There we go.
Great one.
See, it's
Great
not
one,
all
Michaela.
knob facts,
It's
is it?
not all knob facts, no. Oh, that'll be on your tombstone, that will. It
Yours.
wasn't all knob facts. Go on then, Neil, you're number 5.
Monkey.
Oh, yes!
my God.
Monkey
why did
Magic.
I absolutely love this. It
This
became
should
a
have been in my top 10.
staple
Yeah,
diet.
yeah.
Every Monday night it was on.
Yeah, it was.
But you can watch them again. They're on
I know you
ITVX.
can. I know.
Are they?
Yeah, so I've been watching them again, and they still hold up. I find them still really funny. I mean,
I
obviously
get to
the,
watch them.
the animation and the quality is a bit ropey, but it was all about the dubbing as well that
Yeah, it
made
was.
it funnier.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh,
And what
that's
were the
a very
name?
cool
That
one.
was a question I should have done. What was the name of the characters?
So you got Monkey, Pigsy, and oh shit! And I've just watched it recently. The guy underwater,
Sandy.
That's
And then
it.
the name of the priest
The
is
monk, the priestess. What was her name?
Trippy Tagger.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow!
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, get you!
I used to. I know. Oh, I used to love Monkey. Born in an egg on a mountain top.
That's right. Getting the old cloud.
Yeah. Monkey
Yeah.
Monkey magic. Oh, let's just stop this now and let's go and watch Monkey.
Yeah.
I should have had that. It should have been in my top 10. Just should have been in my top
That's a
10.
good one, that.
Okay, my number 5 was Take Heart. So we've already spoken about that one. So Michaela, back to you for your number 4, please.
Yeah, so my number 4 was actually Paint Along with Nancy.
Oh my God.
crikey.
Remember that? Yeah, Kaminsky. So she really did inspire me because she was on. I was very young. Because I started painting in oils when I was like 7. And it was because of her, basically. And she used to use the grid method of painting.
Right.
Yeah, and it was like mind-blowing. I used to watch it sometimes if I was off sick as well from school. I'd be laid in bed with the TV in the room and I'd watch it, and I'd literally, no matter how sick I was, I'd get my paints on the bed and I'd start painting along with Nancy, literally. And I found her so inspiring, and I thought I might have my own TV show one day, painting. I mean, she really, you know, she absolutely inspired me beyond belief. I used to watch her and think, I want to be that good. I really want to be that good. And I loved it. And I've watched some of them now, and it holds up. She is a phenomenal painter. She was a phenomenal painter.
God, that's one of those names that, like, as soon as you say the name, it takes you back to being little.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you know, that
what channel was it on?
I've got a feeling. I thought it was one of the BBC channels, actually. Maybe BBC 2 or something. I don't know. Shall I find out? Yeah.
What was it? Nancy Kaminsky, wasn't it?
Yeah, Kaminsky is her name. Yeah, Nancy Kaminsky.
And what sort of year was that when that was on?
It was definitely, it would have been like 70s, yeah, like 76, 77, that sort of thing.
Wow.
I think. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nancy
definitely.
Kaminsky is like a,
it was HTV West it was on.
Oh, there you go.
74, only 74 to 78.
Wow.
That was all, but it felt like a lot longer than that.
Yeah. It's another thing where they keep repeating them and you've forgotten that you've seen them.
HTV West, oh my word.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, awesome. Nana Muscuri, that's another name as well that takes me back.
Oh, yeah. With the
Demis Roussos as well.
Demis Roussos, oh my word, my mum used to love him.
Oh, dear. Okay, go on then, Neil, your number 4.
So it's the good old classic, it's the Muppets.
That's my number 3.
Oh, that's my number 2, that. Okay.
Well, it was, I think it was a staple diet in most houses. All my friends watched it. Everybody I know watched it growing up. 1974 to 1981. No, 1976, sorry, to 1980.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, they've redone it, a newer Muppets that you can see on Disney and everything. It's not quite got the same magic.
No.
And they did it again. Was it in the 90s or was it?
They did.
2000?
And what I found amazing about that, because it was still the same puppets, wasn't it? And I remember watching it thinking, oh my God, how old are those puppets? Because they were the same ones we used to watch on a Friday night. Right. I think it used to be Friday evening, wasn't it? Wasn't it the start of the weekend, the Muppet Show?
I don't know. I can't remember.
It was a Sunday. Sunday night. Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah, because I can always remember. The one thing about the Muppet Show I can remember was it was the start of that feeling of having to go back to school, Sunday night feeling.
That's really funny. I never had that feeling when I watched it, you see. That's why I thought it was a Friday. It's like I thought it was the start of the weekend.
You had to go back to school the next day.
It was like the guests that they had, and I think Disney Plus now, they've got them pretty much all of the old ones on Disney Plus, haven't they?
They have got all of them.
And you can watch them all. And I can remember, obviously, I can't remember what year it was, 1980, 81, when Empire Strikes Back was coming out.
Oh, the Star Wars one.
Mark Hamill and C-3PO and R2-D2 were on it, and Rocky, Sylvester Stallone was
that's
on it.
right.
John Cleese.
John Cleese.
Steve Martin.
Yeah. Yeah, they're well worth a look if you get a
Yeah, they're very funny.
A
They
little
were
bit
just
dated,
brilliant.
obviously,
Yeah.
because they're from like 50 years ago, 40 years ago,
Exactly.
whatever.
Exactly.
But they're still
well worth
bloody
it.
funny because
Oh,
I've
absolutely.
rewatched a few of them, and they still the sketches that the Muppets do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
funny.
yeah.
I mean,
Definitely.
it changes what you're laughing at because I found like the Swedish Chef a lot funnier now than I used to when I was younger.
Yes.
Things like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's very funny.
I thoroughly recommend if you've got Disney Plus to have a little look at that.
Oh.
So my number 4 was Top of the Pops. We've already spoken about that. So Michaela, back to you for your number 3.
Yeah, this is a bit random. I really, really loved the Krypton Factor.
All right, okay.
Hey,
Honestly, I was
used to
just
watch that.
captivated. I absolutely loved it. I don't know what night that was on, Monday or Thursday.
Monday
I can't
night.
It's a
remember.
Monday night.
Monday night.
7 o'clock.
Was it 7 o'clock? And I was absolutely glued to that.
Yeah.
I
Especially
really,
the assault
really.
course. The assault course was the one I used to love watching.
Yeah, and some of the mental challenges they had on there were just
Yeah.
incredible.
Really
Absolutely
hard, yeah.
awesome.
Gordon Burns.
That's right. That's right, Gordon Burns.
Yeah.
He was brilliant. He was such a brilliant host.
He was. I can tell you about a most bizarre dream I had.
Oh,
Go on.
God.
What
Has
about
it-
him?
Hang on, has it
Yeah.
got knobs on it?
No,
Oh,
no.
right, okay.
I
Carry on.
accidentally killed Gordon Burns.
Oh my word.
Yeah, and it was one of those
No.
dreams where I woke up in a real panic. Yeah, it was a complete
Oh
accident.
my word. Really?
Yeah,
What did you
Look,
do to him?
I accidentally blew him up. It's
Blew
not
him up.
funny. It traumatized me at the time.
Sorry, yeah, you've still got some trauma there, I can tell.
Yeah, but yeah, genuinely, I woke up in a real panic. It was one of those realistic dreams, and I've always remembered. I was on a waste ground, which we used to be able to play on, which is long gone. It's houses now, and we used to build bonfires. And in my dream, one of the people I was with, don't know who, threw on a big gas canister onto the bonfire to hear the boom, and it blew up just as Gordon Burns walked past and killed him.
No way.
Yeah, I remember it vividly, that dream.
Did you wake up the moment that you killed him, or did you have to go through?
Yeah, I
any-
think I did. No, I woke up when we realised we killed Gordon Burns. I could never watch the Krypton Factor again.
Oh my word.
No, I'm joking. But that is a genuine dream, that was.
Wow. No, I loved it. I seriously loved it. I don't know. I mean, I think it.
I'd forgotten about it, to be honest. Till you
Yeah,
mentioned it,
2010 it stopped. It started in
Really?
77. Yeah, it didn't stop until 2010.
And was that Gordon Burns all the way through?
No, it was Ben Shepherd.
Wouldn't have been
Believe
as
it or
good
not.
then. Yeah.
Good old Ben Shepherd and
Yeah.
Ross King.
Okay.
Oh, Ross King as well.
95 he did it.
And then
And Penny Smith as well.
Oh yeah, Penny. Whatever happened to her?
Don't know actually.
You
She's
didn't
still
blow her
alive.
up, Neil, did you? Did you blow her up?
No. Massive
Okay.
knob though she had.
She's in your book as well. I'm glad there's a bit of a balance.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Go on then, Neil. You're number 3.
So we've spoken about you were either one camp or the other. I was very much a Tiswas boy. I love the anarchy of Tiswas. I loved even to a stage where I'm sure my grandparents, when I used to have to stay with them for a weekend, thought I shouldn't be watching it. You know, it was too naughty, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved
Yes.
Tiswas. It was just chaos, wasn't it? The things they
was.
did to people.
Oh, absolutely.
And then when you watch TV shows retrospectively about it, when they talk about it, and you've got Tarrant and all them talking about it,
Yes. Yeah.
it's the amount of people that got injured while doing it. You know, cut foreheads, kids with grazes and slashes on their faces.
Indeed, I know.
It's not surprising with the amount of like fluids
Thing.
that were flying around.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a nasty way. It wasn't.
No,
like
the
that. It was
gunge or
the
gunk
gunge and
and-
yeah, and locking kids in literally in a cage. In
Yeah.
their position, but
And the custard pie, you know, the pies.
yeah.
Yeah, the custard
Ever.
pies, my word.
And they had musical guests on there. That
Yeah,
you
they
sort-
did. They did.
all the time, and they'd stay on the show, you know, but they'd have guests that, looking back on it, you think, what relevance did they have to children? Like Motorhead were on it, and Iron Maiden, and things like that.
Obviously
but-
trying to appeal to the younger generation, get more of a following.
But then
I
they
don't know.
they were switched on as they spoke about it, that, you know, they were basically playing, half the audience were adults.
Yeah.
Absolutely. A lot of
Because of
adults,
Sally
I think,
James.
really. Yeah, exactly.
We
Yeah,
all
she was.
know
Yeah,
Sally
she was quite a sexy woman, wasn't she?
Absolutely. And it wasn't just the fact that she was a sexy woman. She would always wear like tight tops.
Yeah, she would.
So they knew exactly what they were doing.
Of course they do. Well, that's why they went off and did OTT, wasn't it?
That's right. That's right. That used to be on late, didn't it?
That did.
Saturday night, 10 to
Saturday
11.
night. That's right.
That's right. Yeah. And it didn't quite work the same, did it?
No. Except for there were some very funny moments in it.
Yeah.
The balloon dancers made me
Yes, the balloon dancers were very
Now, I
funny.
got to watch this through secretly watching it because my parents wouldn't let me watch OTT at the time. And me and my brother had a little black and white TV upstairs, and that's how we watched OTT.
There's something even better when you're not supposed to watch it. Makes
Exactly. That makes it even naughtier. That's the
Indeed.
thing. My number 3 was The Muppet Show, which we've already spoken about. Michaela, your number 2 was The Muppet Show.
Yeah.
Neil, your number 2 was Grange Hill. My number 2 was The Banana Splits.
Oh, the
Saturday morning.
Na, 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 na,
And it wasn't just the fact that you had like the Banana Splits doing. They were sort of like the monkeys, weren't they? They lived in their own little house kind of thing.
They had their own beach cars
with their beach. Oh, everybody wanted one of those buggies.
Yeah. Oh, they were fantastic.
Do you know that nearly made it onto my list?
Well, you also had cartoons. Like I think it was Arabian Nights was on there, and the Three Musketeers.
That's right.
Land of the Lost.
Land of the Lost. There were little cartoons that were playing in amongst the actual show.
That's right.
But it was the theme tune, and it was also the buggies. They were the two things that, as a kid, I thought it was just iconic. We've said the word of that time.
Yeah, definitely.
They did a horror movie a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that of the Banana
No, I
Splits?
didn't. I didn't watch
see
it.
I heard that it was supposed to be really bad.
Yeah.
But they took the characters from the Banana Splits, and they've done this quite a lot because there's a Winnie the Pooh.
Which they did, and it's because the characters have come out of license.
Right.
So they're able to do it.
Right.
But they're not able to use like visualizations of, for instance, Winnie the Pooh. They can't use the Disney version.
No, they've just done their own version.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, because my boss at work said, "Have you heard that they're doing a horror film of the Banana Splits?" I said, "Fuck off! Don't be stupid."
No, they did.
And then he showed me the trailer, and I thought, "Well, that's the most." And then I saw like reviews for it, and it said it was very, very bad, and it wasn't very good at all.
Likewise with the Winnie the Pooh one, isn't it?
Yeah.
But with the Banana Splits, I was quickly going to ask. I mean, I don't remember this at all, but I've seen programs about it when they talk about children's TV and everything. Did you know, or allegedly so, there was a lot of drug references in?
I don't know. I mean, I would have gone over my.
Yeah, well, it would have done to me, but yeah, I didn't realize that until hearing it. They were putting in, a bit like Scooby Doo, where he had a girlfriend called Mary Jane and all of that.
Oh, right.
There
I'll
was
have
a
to
lot
have
of
a
that.
look. I'll have to have a look on YouTube and see if there's any videos about
You know,
that.
yeah,
It wouldn't surprise me.
Because it was at
wouldn't
that
surprise
time, wasn't it? It was the peace and love time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, the buggies,
okay.
actually, I had a Cindy, and she had a yellow buggy, which wasn't a million miles away from the Banana Splits.
Really?
The buggy. Honestly, it was very, very similar. It was.
Michaela,
it just looks-
did you keep any of these toys?
No,
Because the
sadly-
Cindy stuff and stuff like that is starting to make the monies now, isn't
No,
it?
I didn't. I really wish I had. I mean, I was a big Cindy girl. I had a house, I had a pool, I had a Range Rover, I had this lovely little buggy, a tent, and of
You
course
could be a
Action Man as well.
Did you?
Well, yeah.
Well, Cindy needs someone to settle down with.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she didn't have a Ken, did she? Or did she?
There was a Ken. No, actually, because
Ken was Barbie, wasn't
No,
it?
Cindy didn't actually. So Action Man.
Lucky old Action Man.
Yeah. Was it the
okay.
one dressed up as a Nazi?
No, that was when you had that one, didn't
honestly, indeed.
No, I didn't have the actual, but I had the uniforms. God knows where they came from. I had Nazi uniform. You must have had Nazi uniforms.
Never had Nazi uniforms. No,
No, only your underpants.
yes,
But-
yes.
They were a thing. You literally had Nazi uniforms for your Action Man. They would never do it now.
Surprise me.
She did ditch him for the Bionic Man for a bit.
Oh, well, that's fair enough.
That's understandable, isn't it?
Because he was a great toy, actually, Bionic Man. You could look through his eye.
Indeed. And
I
you
love
could
that.
roll his skin back.
Yeah, you could.
And see the bionics in his arm. I know what you're thinking, Michaela. Don't think like that.
You're thinking of my book, aren't you?
Indeed.
Ah, dear.
I can't tell you about Lee Majors. I know nothing.
Oh, no, yeah. Before we reveal our top of the charts, our number ones, we are going to go through and just do a countdown of our 10 to 2. So, Michaela, if you want to do that first, Neil will do it, and then I'll do it. So, give us your 10 to 2.
Yeah, so my 10 to 2 was thing is I didn't do okay. My 10 to 2 was obviously Batman. Well, it's Kickstart. It was Batman, Fame, Take Heart, Grange Hill, Terrorhawks, Paint Along with Nancy, The Muppets, The Krypton Factor.
Okay. That's your 10 to 2. Neil, your 10 to 2.
So at number 10, I had Flash Gordon, the 1936 Buster Crabtree one. Number 9, Doctor Who. Number 8, Mr. Ben. Number 7, Top of the Pops. Number 6, Batman. Number 5, Monkey. Number 4, The Muppets. Number 3, Tiz Was. And number 2 was Grange Hill.
And mine is number 10, Clapperboard. 9, Superstars. 8, Wurzel Gummidge. 7, Multicoloured Swap Shop. 6, Runaround, 5, Take Heart, 4, Top of the Pops, 3, The Muppet Show, and 2, The Banana Splits. So, Michaela, what is your number 1 favourite TV show as a kid?
It's a Knockout.
Oh,
wow.
I used to be creased up watching that. Me and my dad, actually. My dad used to absolutely love it. And yeah, It's a Knockout. Always remember us watching that as a family and literally just rolling around with laughter. It was just so ridiculous.
Michaela, do you remember the Royal one?
I do.
Oh my God, yeah.
That was awful.
That's a real famous one, isn't it?
Yeah, it was just dreadful. That one.
I don't know how you feel because of the whole Stuart Hall of it all.
Yeah,
I did find that one hard. I did think about putting that one in my top 10, and because of that, it kind of it taints the vision of and my memories of that, because I'm same as you, Michaela.
I kind of separated that. I'd forgotten about that, if I'm honest with you. I didn't,
right.
Yeah.
But he was another one that we were shocked with, like Rolf Harris. I was completely shocked with Rolf Harris. I couldn't get over that. I still find that hard to believe.
But as a show, if you separate the man from the incident,
exactly.
It was a fantastic show. It really was. But it was just that stopped me from putting it in my top 10.
Yeah,
I don't know whether that's the right thing to do.
I don't know. I think that's a damn good reason to not put it in, actually. And I to be honest, that had sort of, because I was just thinking about the joy of watching it, I'd forgotten about that.
But that's what you should do. I'm on that camp. You should forget about Stuart Hall. You should forget. You should remember the program.
It was the program more than the host. Indeed.
I mean, he was. I mean, he can't get away from it. He did make it with his laughter and everything like that.
He did.
The way I look back on that is the sheer joy of seeing those contestants doing the most outrageous things. And those giant inflatable costumes, or whatever they wore, were so good, weren't they?
They were international. International, it's a knockout as well, wasn't it? When they were doing the commentary, it was that fuzzy sounding commentary, so it always made it sound like it was exotic. Because like European football always had the commentary, and it was when they're doing here, and it always sounds like they're talking like through a fuzz box, and it always makes it sound like it's from a far off, distant land kind of thing. But it is a great one. It's
Yeah, I think you should stand by that. Don't be tainted by it, because I still look upon and people say, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." As a child, I really enjoyed Jim Will Fix It.
Yeah,
so did thousands of other people.
Yep. So did I.
Another one.
And I'm not going to have a sicko like him taint my childhood memory of how much I enjoyed that.
Well, in a way, then he's truly won something that there's too much power, isn't there?
Yeah,
he's holding way too much power. These people are, holding way too much power. If then your memories, I think, are diminished, or you try and it affects you as a result in that respect. Then you almost got too much power, then, haven't they?
It's a fair point. It's a fair point.
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
That's a good one, though. Go on then, Neil. You're number 1.
So I don't know whether you might have the same number one as me, but this, and I know you're a huge fan, it's Laurel and Hardy.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what? It isn't my number one, and I didn't have it in my top 10.
God, I'm surprised I didn't have it in my top 10, actually.
I should have done.
Because, I mean, we watched it religiously when we didn't have a VHS or a video recorder or whatever you had. And then as soon as you acquired your first video recorder, that was the first thing I recorded.
I've got the entire box set of DVDs. And I watched them with Ben, and they still crack me up like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, my son is the same. He absolutely loves them. We can put anyone on and enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah. Pardon Us really cracks me up, actually. But
that's where my love for Laurel
morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to teacher. Good morning to you.
The amount of times we've done that.
Oh my god. The thing is especially with Laurel and Hardy, is like, if you know, you know, don't you? Yes. But if you don't, it's like there'll be times when I'll drop a Laurel and Hardy quote into a conversation with my wife. The amount of times, if I'm in a room and two people say the same thing at the same time, then I'll go Shakespeare. And the other person's got to go Longfellow. And then, like, my wife will look at me and go, "What are you doing?" And I said, "You've got to," we both said we can't do anything until you say Longfellow. I ask a question, you answer it, and then we hook little pinkies. We've got to do that. And she'll look at me going, "You idiot."
Yeah. That is brilliant.
The one I use is when anything that sort of happened afterwards, I always go, "A pencil must be lead."
I'll never forget that. I'll never forget the one where they do the piano one, where music box, where the woman, she's like, "Officer, he kicked me in the middle of my daily duties." It's just the way she says it. It's ridiculous.
It's timeless, though. That kind of comedy is timeless.
It is.
And
call me a cab. You're a cab.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, dear.
I should have had that as number one, actually.
I know. I feel like I should have done. It should have at least been in my top 10.
Because that's where your love for Laurel and Hardy came from.
You're absolutely right.
You know,
it used to be every weekday, I think, on BBC Two at like 5:40.
Either in the summer holidays,
in the morning. Right. Sometimes it'd be in the mornings as well.
Yeah.
Be that and Harold Lloyd. Do you remember the Harold Lloyd?
Yeah, Harold Lloyd.
Yeah.
Hooray for Harold Lloyd.
And all those things hanging off that clock and all of that.
Yeah.
Clock, you said.
I did.
Yeah, good.
I don't go that far back. Yeah.
No. Well, that's two that has been in your top 10, Neil, that should have been in my top 10. So I feel like we maybe have to stop this and do it again another time so I can get my top 10 right.
I think we should, and then I'll get my video sorted.
Get your camera sorted, yeah. My number 10, my number one is Tiz Was. I had Tiz Was as my number one because as much as I said you were either Swap Shop or Tiz Was, kids, again, these are the times when TVs didn't have a remote control. They just had a button that you would press for channel BBC, BBC Two, and ITV.
TV.
If you wanted to watch Tiz Was and Swap Shop, you would literally have to stand by the TV and press the button for each channel. Yeah. Now, I actually had my first ever remote control by getting my snooker cue. And clever. Sitting in the TV and trying
sitting in the TV.
Well, sitting by the TV and trying to hit the button with the end of my snooker cue. Now, you had to be a pretty good, you couldn't like be shaking around. You had to try and pop it at the right moment. But it was a nightmare because you've had a good episode of Swap Shop and a good episode of Tiz Was. What do you do? You just like, because you're going to miss something. You couldn't record it because we didn't have video recorders at the time.
No.
If you missed it, you missed it. So
yeah.
It was a nightmare. True. It was an absolute nightmare. But Tiz Was, like you said, Neil, anarchic. It was, and it always seemed to be that the bad people at the bad boys of school loved Tiz Was, and the good people at school loved Swap Shop. It always seemed to be that. But if you somebody in the middle, but again, like I say, they would say, "Oh, did you watch so and so on Swap Shop?" No, I was watching Tiz Was.
Yeah.
You'd miss bits because you couldn't watch all of it.
I mean, there were times when Tiz Was wasn't on and we did watch Swap Shop. They didn't, they sort of had a few episodes. Maybe Tiz Was shut down earlier. And I always remember watching Swap Shop.
Yeah. But it was, you know,
Used to give away great prizes on Swap Shop, didn't
Yeah, they did.
That's what we're thinking.
They did indeed. They did indeed.
Whereas Tiswas had
just custard pies.
Sally James.
Yeah, and Lenny Henry.
Lenny Henry, the Dying Fly. Remember the Dying Fly?
Dying Fly.
Absolutely.
And the
and there was the
Phantom Flan Flinger.
That's right.
I'll put it all on the video playlist for all you Patreon supporters. All of our American friends. This is what made us who we are today by watching
and like
things
I'll
like
say,
Tiswas.
if you YouTube it and see like highlights, you'll be surprised at the amount of top quality musical guests that were on Tiswas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Okay, we've got a few honourable mentions just to get through here. Some of them are our American friends, so there'll be things that we might not have known too much. But Eliza Frydenberg said Alice, Facts of Life, Golden Girls, The Cosby Show, One Day at a Time, Brady Bunch, Jeffersons, Gilligan's Island, Happy Days.
Happy Days. That nearly made my list, actually.
Happy Days. I loved Happy Days.
Me too.
Wendy Wiltshire said The Poggles. Remember The Poggles? And Tiswas. Amanda Facer said Grange Hill, Rhubarb and Custard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mary Mungo and Midge, Mr. Ben, The Herbs, Camberwick Green, Sooty and Sweep, Top Cat, Tom and Jerry, and every Norman Wisdom and Laurel and Hardy film going. There you go. Ross Carpenter said, great episode subject. He's got 1, Dogtanian, 2, Goodnight Sweetheart, 3, Match of the Day, and still, 4, Wackaday with Timmy Mallet and Live and Kicking, 5, Live and Kicking, 6, The Fast Show, 7, Bertha, 8, Vicky the Viking, 9, Wowzer, and 10, Men Behaving Badly.
Vicky
doesn't really seem like I mean, should he have been watching Men Behaving Badly and stuff like that as a child?
I don't know, maybe not.
Don't really associate that with the children's
No,
TV
maybe not.
show.
Nancy Trickle, hello Nancy, says,
Hello,
I thought I was
Nancy.
the only one that knew about G-Force and Gatchaman. And Gatchaman is the Japanese name. Space Ninjas, Gatchaman was the title. Battle of the Planets is the name we got. G-Force is what my sister and I have been calling it for years. Whatever the name is, I loved it all the same. Tim Wainwright said Thundercats ruled everything.
Thundercats, yeah.
I still have every episode on DVD. Before I discovered Thundercats, Centurions was also, and Jake and his Wheeled Warriors were also up there, and Captain Planet.
Wow.
See, I don't know those.
He-Man nearly made my list, actually. I did love He-Man.
He-Man was another one, yeah.
Yeah. And the Flumps.
Oh, here we go. So we got Stu Grant, the A-Team, Street Hawk, Jason the Wheeled Warriors, The Muppet Show, Batman Reruns, The Munsters, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and Grange Hill. Yeah. Rick Tyndall said one of my favourites that is forever ruined now is Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. Again, Bill Cosby, another one of those ones where you separate.
Yeah.
Other faves, Scooby-Doo, Banana Splits, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters, and HR Puffin Stuff. Emma Housden said Rent a Ghost. Remember Rent a Ghost?
Yeah,
I mean, that was one of those ones that was so bad that it was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We got Spooks and
Jamie and the Magic Torch, Murphy's Mob, Clopper Castle.
I forgot about Murphy's Mob. I used to really enjoy that. The football one, isn't it?
Is that the football one? Was it? Right. Swap Shop and the Get Along Gang. There you go. Wow. And finally, Jen Berg said Voyagers. Loved this so much, and John Eric Hexam remains one of the most beautiful humans to have ever lived.
Oh.
So I think that's just an American one. I've never heard. But John Eric Hexam, that name rings a bell.
Has he got a big willy?
I don't know.
I'm just making notes.
I think he's a guy. I think he's a guy that did pass away quite early as well. So perfect timing for that, Neil. Well done.
You never know, he might have passed away from blood loss.
Let's not.
I knew you were going to say that. I was expecting that.
No, let's not go down that road anymore, Neil.
We're not going down on anything.
We've done it. We've done it. Michaela, thank you so much for joining us. It's a shame we haven't been able to see your lovely face.
I know.
Sorry,
guys, about that.
Don't worry. But before we actually say our proper goodbyes, Neil, do you want to tell everybody how they can get in touch with us and all that gubbins?
Of course I can. So you can find us on all the social media sites at Top 10 Pods. Give us a click, give us a like, give us a follow, give us whatever you want. Email us at top10pods@hotmail.com. If you've got any suggestions for any topics, please do drop us a line. Come and help support the podcast at patreon.com/top10pods. There's all sorts of rewards, such as being a guest yourself. Ooh. Check out all of our links via the link tree. You can find the link in the show notes. And please do come and subscribe. Leave us a review and rating wherever you get your podcast from.
Wonderful. Now, Michaela, I take it you've got a website for your art and stuff, have you?
I do indeed. It is michaelanortonart.com.
Wonderful. We will put that link in the show notes of the podcast. So that people can just click, and I'm assuming that they can see your art and they can buy your art and stuff like that.
They can indeed. And also I'm on Facebook as well and Instagram as Michaela Norton Art.
Wonderful.
So yeah.
We'll put all that on
wonderful
the show notes
art
as well.
if you would check it out. It's really
wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful
Thank
indeed.
you so much.
Michaela, it's been lovely catching up with you.
Thank you for
so
having
much
me.
for joining us. It's been lovely going back down
memory lane.
Memory lane. That's the word I was looking for.
The only thing I will say is I'm gutted that I'm not in that lovely little room where all your other podcasts have been.
Well,
I miss that place.
If I'd have known that your camera wasn't working, I would have said, "Come along and sit next to me," and we could have done it that way, couldn't we?
Yeah,
but
we
then
could
you'd have
have
had pop figures falling all over you. I don't know why. I'm gonna have to work out why that all happened.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Could have worn one of your helmets to one side there.
There we go. Let's ring the bell for that.
Oh, I walked into that one.
You did walk into that one.
I did.
But again, Michaela, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Bless
Excellent.
you both.
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you, Pav. Thank you, Michaela. It's been an absolute joy and pleasure. Thank you so much.
It's been a joy.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching and listening. And let's go start the countdown.
10.